Hi, my name is Teixeira, and today we're going over a few quick tips to have a strong silhouette when modeling a character in Zbrush. For this specific character, I model the head separately. I usually do that, I start with the head, and most of the stylization that I do on the head is gonna dictate how stylized the body is gonna be. And that brings us to tip number 1, use Z-spheres. A lot of people dislike Z-spheres for some reason. I think they are great for establishing a really good silhouette for the character before you add any details to it. You're gonna see how the proportions are working and how dynamic the silhouette is without having to worry about any detail or distraction. I already made a tutorial of how to use these spheres, so if you wanna check that out, just click on the box. And that brings me to the tip number 2. Press V. So this is a little bit weird, but I really like this. When working on the proportions of a character and on the silhouette of a character, we are misled and fooled by the 3D shape of what we are looking at. What I mean by that is we're seeing things, even though it's a 2D surface, we're looking at a 3D object inside, and it carries lighting information and carries color information. We analyze all those things and we might overlook the silhouette, that it's the most important part when you're blocking a character. To avoid that, I just press V. What V does is switch the color, and if you're using any of the matte cap materials, this works. If you're using any of the standard materials that have high spec, it might not work as well, because the specular is gonna show through. So let's see if you get the even like the basic material too, the specs showing through and it's giving you some 2D information. So I like to use the matte cap gray for this, and I just turn around and look and see how the character actually looks like in a silhouette. And tip number 3 goes hand in hand with tip number 2. They serve this exact same purpose, and this is even more used on the painting community for painting artists. It's just zoom out. Look at your character from distance. Not if you keep zooming in and looking at parts, you're not seeing it as a whole. Even if you have like the whole character in the screen like this, but I'm working on a 24 inches screen, so I'm pretty close to what I'm seeing, and he looks huge on my screen, so it's hard for me to look at him as a whole. So best thing I can do is just zoom out. As I'm about to subdivide and dynamesh this for the first time, we get to the tip number 4. Stay low poly for as long as you can. Subdividing and get to higher density mesh too quick is one of the biggest mistakes you can make when starting a character. The more polygons you have, the hardest it is to smooth things out and clear the silhouette and all that. Tip number 5, use the clip curve. When working with art directors, one thing that's very common to hear is the term straight against curves and a lot of shape guided comments like that. They really want to see like a full straight. That comes easily in 2D. Not easily, but if you're adding that intentionally in 2D, it's pretty straightforward. In 3D, on an organic form like this, anytime you smooth things out and you try to clean up, it's gonna round things off. So keeping those straight, and especially straight angles, it's pretty hard. The way I found that helps me the most to achieve those angles is by using the clip curve. Clip curve, you can find it here if you hold Ctrl Shift, and on the brush menu, clip curve is the third one here. And you can isolate or mask out parts that you don't want affected. And suppose I want this to the back of his leg to be a complete straight. Right now it says light S curve, so is the front. And most art directors would say like to keep one of those straight, just to have the famous straight against curve on the design. So I will mask out some parts that I don't want affected. One thing to remember when using clip curves is always turn your perspective off. If you have your perspective on, it's gonna cut in an angle. I know it's pretty ugly. It gives uneven cut, especially because the form is uneven, it's round, it's organic. But if you want to have this as a straight from the side view, you can grab the trim dynamic and the smooth brush and just round the corners off, trying to not affect the middle section, and that's the best way to keep that straight on that locked side view. So that it's pretty straight. For if you want two straights facing each other, like a 45 degrees angle cut, to curve the clip curve, you just press Alt one time, and that bends it. And it's pretty good for S curves or C curves. But if you want to make these two straight, just press Alt twice, really quick. So this gives you a very nice double straight. That's it for this week's tutorial. If you like this video, please let me know by clicking on like. If you enjoyed this kind of content and you want to see more, please subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to do one update every week, and I hope to see you next time.